You're watching a clip from the Club podcast.
Make sure you follow it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give it a 5-star review.
1-0 for Rory. Chelsea have made an absolute ton of signings in this transfer window, and we want you to rank them. You're either going to give them guest list to the club, you'd accept them into the club and you like them. Denied entry, you're going to just say no, absolute failure, you're not coming in. Or membership pending.
Okay. Can I tag on to this as well?
You can as well, Buvey.
We'll do it as a combined.
And we will start off.
It's your thing first, and I'll tag on at the end.
And we will start off with the biggest of them all. Enzo Fernandez, 107 million.
Yeah, obviously, what I have to do is subtract the price from this. I can only weigh up the footballer. I'm not bringing in like £100 million. £100 million for a geezer who's played like a dozen games. Yeah. It's obviously a lot of money. What I would say is, I think he was brilliant at the World Cup. Like I noticed him. I genuinely noticed him. Like I saw a few people sort of talking about it, going, when I watched Argentina, I didn't notice their midfield. I was like, well, you should have done. Like, he was a very good player. He didn't play their first 2 games. When he got in the team, they couldn't drop him. He changed the games for them once he got involved.
They beat Australia.
Beat Poland. He scored the goal against Mexico.
You just give them.
No, but you play.
Mexico, Poland,
well, they also
Australia.
beat France in the final, in which he played.
The World Cup. The World Cup is never an. Real Madrid have always done that kind of sign the best player from the World Cup for decades, haven't they? And it's like, I don't think that is an indicator at all. I mean, Nicolas Otamendi was one of the best centre backs at the tournament. Yeah, Harry Maguire. Do you know what I mean?
Harry Maguire didn't have a good World Cup though. It was
that's different. But he had a fantastic World Cup, Harry Maguire. For me. But
look, overall with Enzo Fernandez, I think the other thing that we have to bring into the equation here is how desperately Chelsea needed Enzo Fernandez. If it doesn't work with Enzo Fernandez, fine. But I'm really glad that we made the move because we had a midfield. We had such a pitiful midfield. We had such a passive midfield for such a long time. You know, that Jorginho and Kovacic pivot. It's like, I swear, these 2 geezers, one of them is a very good footballer. The other one I don't really rate. But I don't think either of them have ever changed the result of a game that they've ever played in.
Yeah, it's just...
Like, whatever the result would be...
If you're already winning, they look good. If you lose, then they don't change it. You're right.
They've literally, especially Jorginho, like, he's never changed the result of a game that he's played in. So I'm...
what are we giving? What are we giving Enzo?
I like the Enzo Fernandez signing. I think he's too expensive. I think he's far too expensive. But the days of rational spending's gone out the window years ago. So what am I meant to... Like, it's at least 50% too dear. At least 50% too dear. But I'm happy with this signing, and I would like to invite him into the club if he would lose the hair dye.
Yeah, for me, he's not allowed in the club
because of the hair dye.
No, just because he's so overrated. It's untrue. So far,
that means pending because I'm saying he's in.
Yeah, you've gone in the middle. Okay, next up, Mudryk, 62 million.
Fuck yeah.
Very difficult this one because something strange happened. I don't know if this has ever happened before with trying to assess a footballer. But in Chelsea's last game, he didn't have a bad game. He just didn't feature.
He got hooked at half-time, Rory.
Yeah, but he didn't touch the ball. He didn't do anything.
Not true. He did touch the ball, and a couple of touches were absolutely shocking.
I've never known a footballer to be less involved.
Yeah, that's worrying in itself.
To be less involved. Worrying.
If you're not getting the ball, look, Fulham are very well organised, fine. If you're not getting the ball, and you're at home, weren't you?
Yes.
If you're not getting the ball in those situations, that is a subconscious, subliminal thing that they don't trust you on the ball.
Or it's also another thing, like it can be explained by the fact that Cucurella's behind him who can't pass straight.
Yeah, and Chelsea fans were sort of talking to me on Twitter about the lack of support for him in terms of the overlap. I get that. But there was a couple of take-ons that were really poor. There was a couple of passes.
He did look lively against Liverpool, though. So
yeah, I think you're talking about one moment where he flicks it round Matip or Gomez, and he kind of
Milner, isn't it? Milner had to get subbed off the back of it.
It felt like a kind of deflected little bit of trickery, a bit like an Anthony kind of half skill, not a real bit of skill. I'll just say it quickly, and I'll let you whatever. I think he'll go down as the worst signing in the history of Premier League football and the history of European football. And I'm not saying this. I don't think he's got the physicality. I don't think he's got the proven track record to do anything.
Do you really not think it's going to work?
I think he'll be. I'm not even just trying to wind you up as a Chelsea rival or anything like that. I don't think he's got anything of quality look. If he's a 15 million quid gamble for Brighton, Brentford, okay, even 25 million for Chelsea, part of the academy setup when he's a bit younger. He's got to hit the ground running. He's got to get you Champions League football, and he's already struggled to do that. You've got no results with him, no wins with him in the squad in 2. So, for me, he'll be the worst signing in the history of Premier League football, in my opinion.
Okay, that's huge. What I say to that is it's very difficult for me to judge here because I thought he looked quite lively against Liverpool and I thought he was completely insignificant against Fulham. And that's all the data that we've got to go on. I think he's far too expensive. But I have nothing else to say because I'm not going to do that weird thing that people do in our industry. I'm not going to pretend to watch Shakhtar Donetsk games. I don't know, man. I've never seen the geezer play for Shakhtar Donetsk. So I can literally judge it on the two performances that we've seen, which is a combined tally of 60 minutes of football.
It's crazy. Yeah.
In that 60 minutes, he's looked quite lively in one half and quite poor in the other. So I would say pending, but Buvey seems passionate. Buvey's more passionate than me about...
Buvey's denying everyone. It is exclusive.
No, it is. That's the whole point. It is exclusive. And
if he's not joining the club, no way.
Is he pending? Can you live with him on the pending list or not?
You know when you actually queue up for a club and the bouncer doesn't even want to check your ID, you're not getting it.
You're just
That's
not
how
in.
bad it is. He's not even going to... I don't care if Mudrik's got a driving license in Ukrainian, in English, he's got an EU passport or whatever.
Just fake something about the dress sense. Just fake it. Like, it doesn't matter what it is.
He's got bad vibes.
Blue jackets.
He's got bad vibes. And obviously, we talked about earlier, he was tweeting about or Instagramming about Arsenal a few weeks before. Nowhere is he getting in the club.
Got a moody old Barnet as well.
Strange Barnet.
Moody Barnet.
Weird
party.
I know that you boys there said, you're not watching him for Shakhtar, but, me, due to having bets on every single day, I watched a lot, not of him in Ukraine, by the way. I mean the Champions League, and he tore apart Celtic, Real Madrid in a few games.
Celtic? The worst side in the history. One of the worst sides in the history.
You can't cut him off there, though. He said another word after that.
Celtic?
No, he said Celtic, and then he said Real Madrid.
There was a delay in the headphones.
There was no delay. You just jumped the gun.
There was a delay. You're close to the line.
There's a lesson in this, though. There's a moral lesson, isn't there? Let people complete their sentences before you go wading into them.
Well, I'd give him time. I'd give him time.
What are you doing against Real Madrid?
Pending. Scored loads of goals, mate. Bundles of them, loads of them, battered them.
You've got to remember, Shakhtar beat Real Madrid in one leg, and I think he was key to that.
Yeah,
game.
Champions of Europe, mate.
He's worth 80 million quid, is he?
Bargain.
No. Just what? No.
I'm not saying he's worth it.
Is he at Shakhtar right now?
No.
Where is he at now? Chelsea. How much you pay for him?
80 mil.
80 mil.
There's a cost of living crisis. There's some people can't afford tea bags, and you're spending 80 million quid. That's like do you know how much a fighter jet costs? The RAF.
Is that your go-to thing? People can't afford tea bags.
Yeah.
Why tea bags? Is that like a prerequisite
it's
for life?
It's a staple of British society.
That's fair.
Has been since the
yeah, I
old
couldn't
days.
live without tea. In fairness, I'm
more of a coffee man.
I have tea on the go all day long. I have one on the go constantly.
When you got one here?
No, because
right,
mate, no, I don't.
Right.
Nobody offered to make me one. I don't know where the kitchen is.
Next up, Noni Madueke from PSV.
I've liked
29 mil.
I've liked the look of him. He's in the club.
Cheaper than he's a cheaper deal. So it's
I think Madueke is the kind of signing that I want us to make as well. Like, if I'm being completely frank with you, I don't really want to sign Mudryk. I don't really, look. I hope it works, and I really hope that in a few years' time we're looking at him in this way that we looked at Eden Hazard. I think it's unlikely, but I hope that is the case. But I don't really want to be signing players like that, for exorbitant amounts of money being held to ransom when they've told us explicitly that they want to play for Arsenal, that they want to join McKola Arteta's vision, and suddenly Chelsea have gone in there and just made it impossible because we have so much money that we can't even carry it all. He's Scrooge McDucking around his house, isn't he? Swimming about in a dough. So no, I don't really want that sort of signing. But Madueke is a signing that I like.
Yeah, English kind of
English.
That's always good for sell-on value.
Out of North London. Yeah. I think it's pending. Everything has to be pending.
For me, it's pending as well.
Yeah, it's pending. But we'll go pending, Al. We've agreed on one.
Okay. You've finally agreed. I don't know if you'll agree on this one or not. A shaky start. João Felix, 10 million loan.
João Felix is one of the only players in the club at the moment that is undoubted quality. There is no two ways about it. João Felix is good enough to play for virtually every club in the country if he gets it going.
Yeah.
So having a player like that around at Chelsea, just having a player of that level is great. Dodgy debut. Dodgy in terms of people were being very kind about it, I thought. They were going, didn't he play well?
He did play well.
He missed the chance, got himself sent off. I don't know. We seem to, if a different player had done that, I don't think people would be so kind about it.
Yeah.
I thought that overall, I think he played well. He was lively, but he missed a glaring opportunity. Pretty much just to keep it to beat.
Yeah.
And then got sent off, and that cost us the game. But he's probably, if we take N'Golo Kante out of this conversation, because I don't know when he'll feature again, In fact, he is definitely Chelsea's best player, isn't he?
Thiago Silva, Reece James. But I
think João Felix is the most natural baller. At the club.
But then no guarantee of signing him if you want to sign him.
No, it's very expensive.
Incredible wages as well.
They do have first refusal.
Yeah, but do they?
First
refusal.
Someone comes in with more money, they can do it.
First refusal doesn't mean that you get signed, because obviously if he does really well, they'll want him back.
Yeah, City had the first refusal on Pedro Porro, I think, and we didn't get him. So it's terrible business. I'm sorry.
It's expensive business, but it's not terrible business.
Well, the issue is he's not good. Already, the sending off means that's 3 games that he's not been able to contribute. You've already fallen off to the point you're 20 points behind Arsenal. I think it's 20 points.
But if we knock Dortmund out of the Champions League, one of the main reasons that we could potentially knock Dortmund out of the Champions League.
You lose to them, mate. I think you lose and you come 10th.
Aren't you I'm talking hypothetically then.
No. Well, you and Liverpool. So, I'm
talking hypothetically. If we beat Dortmund, one of the main reasons... if we beat Dortmund, it will be because João Felix has a good game.
Yeah, that is a factor. I don't think it's enough for the short-termism of it, for me.
Yeah, see, I like this signing. I just like having proven quality football. João Felix is an elite level footballer.
He is. I don't think he's proven. I don't think he's proven enough.
He's not Premier League proven.
He's had 3 subpar years in Atletico Madrid, and that's not his fault, it's the system. Benfica, he was a bit like Enzo Fernandez. He had about 40, 50 games for Benfica, then get sold.
This feels harsh, Booth, to me. João Felix, effectively what we're saying here is that João Felix isn't allowed in our club. That's
for
who
me,
do we think we are?
I love him if he came to City, he was linked to City a few years ago. He's allowed in the club. But he's playing for Graham Potter. He's playing for side 10th or 11th or 9th in the league.
If he went to City, he's allowed in, but because he's at Chelsea, he's not.
Because this deal at Chelsea right now for his career is wrong. He's not going to help you get into the Champions League. You're going to get banged out. You're not in the FA Cup. You're not in the League Cup. You're going to get banged out by Dortmund. Dortmund are better than you.
You can't say that as fact.
I think they'll beat you.
I think they'll beat us.
Yeah.
But you can't put that as your reason. You can't
use as a counter argument that João Felix will thus help you beat Dortmund. No, but I don't think they will.
It's as relevant as you saying that they won't. I'm only saying that
they're both similar arguments. All I'm saying is I don't think he'll do enough in that game. And I think you'll have a really poor season.
Can we come back to this after the Dortmund home and away?
Of course.
So if Chelsea beat Dortmund and he's integral, an assist, a goal, whatever, he's in.
Fine, but right now he's not in.
Well, he's pending.
Yeah, for me, he's not in.
He's pending.
So he's borderline not in. Pending.
No, he's pending.
He's pending then.
He's pending.
Pending, fine.
Don't be so pedantic.
2 more. But
I know. Can I just say one immediately? Because this guy's in, straight in. In fact, he can sit where Buvey is. Benoit Badiashile.
Yeah, unbelievable.
In. Non-negotiable, just in.
He'll be a fantastic
absolutely brilliant. Bearing in mind the defence that he came into, it's all very well. When you go to certain clubs, like maybe signing for Man City last year, everything's going well, everything's rosy. Pep Guardiola's living the dream, and you slot in and play well. Great. He's come into a back line with Cucurella, who doesn't know what day it is. Kepa Arrizabalaga behind him, who's one of the worst goalkeepers in the league. Azpilicueta, who hasn't been good enough to play football for years. And he still looks class and elevated our back line.
Wait till Chilwell's there. Reece James.
Benoit Badiashile's in. We can move on now. Who's next?
Next and final is David Datro Fofana.
I thought he looked lively, but I don't know enough about him. I thought he looked lively when he came on the other day. I thought he could have scored, actually.
Not very much money, so that's fair enough.
Pending.
That is decided for who joins the club.
Badiashile, welcome. Our first honorary member.
Big as well. He must be one of the tallest centre-backs in the league.
Benoit Badiashile is our first honorary member of the club.
Yeah, good player.
Buvey can fight him on a Misfits card.
He'd have you over.
He's a proper professional athlete, and I'm sitting here on my lard arse next to you. Fuck you know.